Now at 9, a former Oklahoma teacher is sentenced after sex crime charges involving students. What court documents reveal?
Since it's Distracted Driving Awareness Month, a local police officer wants to remind drivers to put those phones down. I'm Lonnie Walton in Independence, Kansas. I'll have that story coming up.
An exhibit in Parsons, Kansas hopes to show that art knows no age. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A judge sentences a former Miami, Oklahoma teacher and coach for sex crimes involving students. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. The DA's office says Kenyon Cole pleaded guilty to sexual battery and 3 counts of soliciting sexual conduct or communication with a minor by use of technology. He gets 90 days in the county jail, a 10-year suspended sentence, and 10 years probation. Cole will also have to register as a sex offender. Miami police say Cole had previously been forced to resign from Sand Springs High School. That was in 2022. According to court documents, authorities investigated Cole for similar behavior during his time at that school. However, Cole applied to Miami Public Schools with a reference letter from the Sand Springs principal stating he would hire him again. Following Cole's arrest, Miami Public Schools released a statement regarding his employment with the district. It says, quote, "It's important to note that this individual came to our district with solid references from their previous school district in Oklahoma. Thorough background checks were done and all laws followed in the hiring process." You can find much more on this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. In Missouri, the hands-free law is a law used to encourage Missourians not to use cell phones while driving. And while that's not the law everywhere, distracted driving is a problem law enforcement everywhere does deal with. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has more from Independence, Kansas.
I talked to a local police officer and a driver about staying aware while driving on the road, which can save you time and money.
I have my turn signal on to turn on my road.
Sue Lynn is a driver in Independence, Kansas. She says she's had close calls with distracted drivers.
The car behind me was on their phone looking down, and I went to turn, and they zoomed around me on the other side as I was trying to turn.
And she's not the only one. Jackie Coleman says he has the same problem sometimes.
Oh yeah. I let them get away with it. I don't have what you call road rage. That's dangerous.
According to Detective Lieutenant Kyle Hand from Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, driving and looking at your phone shouldn't happen.
I've had several accidents. I've made traffic stops before with people texting and driving. It's a very dangerous deal.
Lieutenant Hand says more than 20% of vehicle accidents in Kansas are caused by distracted driving. There's lots of technologies that keep your hands free and your eyes on the road.
Connect your phone to the car audio and talk to them hands free. And if there's a text message, I know Apple has a deal where they send an automatic text message to somebody saying you're driving.
That said, both Lynn and Coleman have strict words for drivers.
And you have to drive defensive around here. Oh. You have to look out for those people.
Take your phone and put it away. Don't drive with your phone in your hands.
Reporting in Independence, Kansas, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
AAA is tracking the statistics for distracted driving. They say the hands-free law in Missouri has reduced crashes by more than 5%, meaning in the last 2 years, about 660 fewer injuries. Gas Buddy says some gasoline prices in the area have increased over the past week. According to AAA, the statewide average in Missouri is $2.91 per gallon. In Kansas, it's $2.88. In Oklahoma, $2.78. Those are all close to some of the lowest prices in our area counties. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Well, temperatures tonight are dropping down again into the lower 30s, not below freezing, but right at freezing. We do have frost warnings and freeze warnings in the area. Freeze warning for Missouri counties and Kansas counties along the Missouri border. Then out in Oklahoma and Arkansas, we are under a frost advisory until Tuesday morning. Now, after that, temperatures are going to start to warm up. We've got this nice ridge setting up, so we've got a gradual warm up over the next couple of days. Today, we saw temperatures in the mid 60s. Now, Tuesday, forecast to get into the upper 60s, Wednesday mid 70s, and then we've got a cold front line coming through Wednesday night. Not expecting any rain chances, but we are going to see temperatures drop a few degrees, but I'm going to have those details coming up.
Catching a few. There's no age limit for creativity. That's the idea behind the Art is Ageless exhibit at Presbyterian Manor, a senior living community in Parsons, Kansas. KOAM Samantha Walker spoke with local artists who say the program inspires them to express themselves.
That's right. Art is Ageless is a program done all across the country in Presbyterian manors just like the one here in Parsons. Program organizers hope to showcase that art is a passion you can follow, no matter how old you are.
God gave people certain gifts, I guess. He gave me an eye for color.
Lois K. Vale says she's been an artist for as long as she can remember. No matter what she did, art was always a part of her life.
Even when I was working 16 hours out in the tractor, I was doing paintings in my head.
She incorporates her life into her work, including showing the impacts the tough winter of 1983 had on her family's farm.
To get it off of me, therapy, because it was terrible.
Larry Davis is displaying his realistic pencil drawings, a passion he's used to help raise money for good causes in the past. He says it wasn't until after retirement that he was able to truly pursue his creativity and find the best medium for himself.
I found that with pencils, I could mash down enough it took sort of the tremble away.
He's one of the many residents, staff at the Presbyterian Manor convinced to enter the Art is Ageless competition for those aged 65 or older.
Drawings here of my family, I took those from small black and white pictures.
Winning artists at the local level will have a chance to compete in a master's competition later this summer, for then an opportunity to be featured in the Art is Ageless calendar. But for many artists participating, they say it's about so much more than just winning.
I voted for someone else. I don't really care if I win. It's just fun.
For many, the competition serves as a reassurance that they can still make art, an inspiration to make more.
Even though a body gets old and feeble, they're not useless.
Something she has no plans to stop anytime soon.
Even if I'm blind as a bat, somebody just give me the paper and tell me about the colors.
The public is welcome to come view all of these different artworks through Wednesday, April 9th. Reporting in Parsons, I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Beautiful work there. The Art is Ageless exhibit is going to be open to viewing from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow and Wednesday. Coming up, a viral spread in the heart of Texas. The Lone Star State battles its largest measles outbreak in decades with hundreds of cases. Now the health secretary weighs in. But up first, it's the second most common neurodegenerative disorder in the U.S. Its early signs can be easy to miss. Coming up, what to watch for when it comes to Parkinson's disease.
And MeTV.
April is Parkinson's Awareness Month. With nearly 90,000 new U.S. cases each year, health officials say many might be living with it undiagnosed. Mandy Gaither shares key warning signs to watch for.
Behind Alzheimer's disease, it's the second most common neurodegenerative disorder in the U.S. Parkinson's disease affects the central nervous system, causing people to have difficulty controlling their bodies, and it worsens over time.
We actually lose about 80 to 90% of our cells, these cells, what we call dopaminergic cells, before we even notice the symptoms of this disease.
Dr. Sanjeet Grewal with Mayo Clinic says one of the earliest signs can be a slight tremor or shakiness, sometimes in your thumb, index finger, or chin.
One thing that's important to know with Parkinson's is often it's asymmetric, which means it starts with symptoms on one side and then can develop to having symptoms on both sides.
In addition, other warning signs include stiffness, difficulty with movement, freezing of gait where a person has a hard time starting to walk, a face that becomes expressionless, the person can no longer show emotions, speech may become softer, and writing may start to look smaller. There may also be a sleep disorder that develops,
where patients will start acting out their dreams and they'll start to get very, very physical in their dreams.
Graywall says patients may also develop a stooped posture, like they're leaning forward. There may be blood pressure issues, a persistent loss of the sense of smell, and dizziness when the person stands up. Constipation may also be a problem.
If we can catch it early, we can treat it early.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Health officials in Texas are still working to stop the state's biggest measles outbreak in at least 30 years. Nearly 500 infections have been confirmed so far. 2 children have died. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. visited the state yesterday. He later wrote, quote, "The most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine." Kennedy has previously resisted calls to urge widespread vaccinations, instead saying it is a personal choice. McDonald County Schools is putting on employee wellness front and center with a special Wellness Day event today at the high school in Anderson. From health screenings to self-care activities like spa stations, art, and healthy snacks, staff are getting the chance to recharge and refocus. The district partnered with Freeman and Mercy Health Systems to offer free screenings, including blood pressure checks and skin cancer exams.
We allowed our counselors and nurses to kind of use their expertise and their years of knowledge to see what they thought would be helpful, and then we allowed our certified staff members to vote from 1 to 5 on what they would want most or least.
Leaders say it's all about showing appreciation and supporting teachers and staff both personally and professionally. Library of Congress education specialists visited Girard to show educators how they can access digitized collections from the National Library to enhance their teaching curriculums. The professional learning program is called Teaching with Primary Sources. Its goal, to work with rural communities and explore the use of primary sources from the National Library's collections. The Library of Congress specialists hope teachers will take what they learned and bring it back to their classrooms.
It really helps me in the sense of helping the students with getting primary resources in the forms of pictures for junior high kids to help them realize, hey, that was what was happening in Kansas during that time or during the wars.
Tomorrow there will be another session that's open to the public. The Library of Congress will have future events in other cities. The next city they're going to is Hutchinson, Kansas. That'll be on April 10th. Lindsay's next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, President Trump's tariffs on China are prompting a big shift for Apple. The tech giant's ramping up iPhone production in India to avoid steep import costs.
Well, we had a cold start to the morning, but temperatures warmed up pretty nicely. Now taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We've got mostly clear skies tonight, but temperatures are dropping back down into the lower 30s. Now, we saw that this morning. Temperatures were below freezing, so we did have that freeze warning, but we warmed up to near average temperatures. So we're basically doing the same thing tomorrow, getting down to about 32 degrees. So we do have a freeze warning out in Missouri and in Kansas counties along the Missouri border. And then out in Oklahoma and Arkansas, we're under a freeze advisory through tomorrow morning. Now, we're going to stay mostly clear skies for the next couple of days. Overall, it's going to be really nice. Temperatures, although starting cold, get back up into the mid to upper 60s tomorrow. And again, mostly sunny all day long. Now, winds are going to start to pick up ahead of a front that's going to be moving through on Wednesday. So let's look at our future track. We've got temperatures in the mid to upper 60s to start out Tuesday. Winds out of the south. We've got a few clouds moving in overnight and into early Wednesday morning. Temperatures Wednesday morning only dropping down to the mid to lower 50s, so it's going to be much warmer on Wednesday. Now you can see where our cold front starts to push through after a pretty warm day on Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, 75 in Joplin, 77 in Parson, 78 in the 8 Center. Only clouds along that cold front, but later into the night and into early Thursday morning, might see a few light showers just in the northeast, but not a really big disruption to the day. A couple of light showers, but not really a lot of accumulation there. Now, like I said, though, winds are going to start to pick up on Tuesday, so wind gusts up to 20-25 mile per hour winds throughout most of the day out of the southwest on Tuesday, but picking up to 45 mile per hour winds by the evening. Now, overnight and into early Wednesday morning, we could see winds gusting up to 50, even pushing up to 55 mile per hour before that front starts to push through late Wednesday afternoon and into the evening. There you can see the cold front moves in, bringing winds out of the northwest, and they start to die down. Now, that is going to drop our temperatures a bit as we head into Thursday. So, like we saw Wednesday, getting into the mid to upper 70s. Thursday, low 70s. And then Friday, we're also a little bit cooler, mid to upper 60s for the high. Now, no worry there, because we are jumping back up to the 70s on Saturday, mid to upper 70s. Again, sunny skies. Now, winds pick up again on Sunday ahead of another front with more rain showers late Sunday night. You can see temperatures are in the low 80s. Now, after that, we drop back down again, another few degrees Monday and Tuesday, with more rain chances starting Tuesday night, late showers, and then scattered showers and maybe some thunderstorms Wednesday and Thursday as well. But as of right now, we don't see a severe threat for the next at least 10 days. Even though we're getting a few rain chances, it is not going to be near what we saw last week.
That's good. We'll enjoy these nice days while they're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lindsay, thanks. Coming up, trouble on Wall Street.
Or trouble ahead, perhaps, for Wall Street today. Overseas markets had a tough time overnight. I'm Doug Luzader in Washington. We'll have more on the president's new tariff plan coming up.
Wall Street could face more steep losses as President Trump's new tariffs take hold. As Doug Luzader reports from Washington, though, the president is standing by his plan.
President Trump says he does not want the markets to tank, but he says this may be the price we have to pay for the fundamental realignment that he envisions. No matter what the language, the numbers are clear. Overseas markets took a beating overnight. That follows last week's big sell-offs on Wall Street, with signs that this could be another difficult day.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
The president, flying back from Florida last night, talked about the reaction so far to his tariffs.
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal, but I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. Hands up! Hands up!
But pressure may be building. There were big protests against the president and his policies around the country over the weekend. Democrats think they may have found new footing now on economic issues.
I've never seen an administration in my lifetime do something so monumentally wrong and that so staggeringly hurts American people.
And even within the president's inner circle, there may be some dissenting views. Elon Musk saying it may be time to cut a deal with Europe.
I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America.
White House senior counselor Peter Navarro says Musk doesn't get it.
He doesn't understand that. And the thing that's, I think, important about Elon to understand, he sells cars. That's what he does.
President Trump meets today at the White House with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and trade is certain to be a top issue. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
President Trump's tariffs on Chinese goods are pushing Apple to rethink its global strategy, including a shift toward more iPhone production in India. The Wall Street Journal reports Apple plans to send more devices to the U.S. from India to avoid the new 54% tariff on Chinese imports. India's rate is much lower, just 26%. The iPhone accounts for about half of Apple's revenue, and the company's reliance on China has raised concerns among investors. Apple's expected to produce 25 million iPhones in India this year, about 15 million of them for U.S. customers. But even with that shift, it would only meet around half of U.S. demand for the year. Later, tunes, tips, and toddlers. See how Pittsburgh families celebrated Music Monday. Parents and young children celebrated Music Monday this evening at Pittsburgh High School. Families learned tips from Cooper Neal, the music director at USD 250, on how to introduce music at an early age before they got to enjoy a kid-friendly concert by PHS band members.
We want to get parents involved in allowing for their kids to listen to music in a safe and comfortable environment. So one of the things that we're doing is we're allowing them to make however much noise that they want to make in this environment and to freely express themselves as well.
That event wrapped up at 7 this evening, leaving participants with plenty of tunes and smiles. Some good dance moves, too, as you see. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, President Trump says China pulled back from a TikTok deal in retaliation for new tariffs, and now the future of the app in the U.S. remains uncertain. And Israeli forces push deeper into Gaza, controlling more than half the territory.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Beijing throws a monkey wrench into plans to sell TikTok to an American company so it can keep operating in the U.S. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from Washington.
If I gave a little cut in tariffs, they'd approve that deal in 15 minutes.
We're learning more about the potential sale of TikTok to an American company and the economic forces at work against it. President Trump told reporters the American government had approved a buyer and a deal was imminent when Beijing slammed the brakes, a retaliation for the new tariffs that went into effect last week.
We had a deal pretty much with TikTok, not a deal, but pretty close. And then China changed the deal because of tariffs.
On Friday, President Trump signed an executive order aimed at keeping TikTok running in the United States for another 75 days, giving White House negotiators more time to get a deal done that would bring the social media giant under American ownership and jurisdiction. Potential buyers are backing the president's move.
Better that this deadline was extended rather than try to force a deal through that might, Congress may not be happy with and might not comply with the law.
But with the White House not backing down from the tariff fight, it's not clear if China will sign off on a deal before the next deadline. And American officials have been clear the app can no longer be connected to the Chinese government if it's going to keep operating in the U.S.
They're all linked. No private company in China does business that doesn't have a direct connection with the Chinese Communist Party.
The Trump administration says it has no intention of renegotiating the TikTok deal, and it's standing by for a response from Beijing. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The Commerce Department plans to raise tariffs on Canadian lumber from 14.5% to 34.5%. That's according to filings in the Federal Register. The hike stems from a long-running dispute with the U.S. claiming Canada's lumber industry is government subsidized. In response, British Columbia's premier called the duties unjustified and warned they could push U.S. housing costs even higher. Israel has dramatically expanded its footprint in the Gaza Strip since relaunching its war against Hamas. Fox News' Trey Yingst has more from Tel Aviv.
As Israeli forces move deeper into the Gaza Strip, they're occupying more territory. The IDF now controls more than 50% of Gaza, with civilians being squeezed into small areas as the fight against Hamas escalates. Officials say they're creating a military buffer zone to keep Israeli civilians safe.
We know that we are fighting terrorists, and we are doing everything we can to minimize civilian casualties. There is suffering in Gaza, but the one to be blamed for that is only Hamas.
Overnight, Israeli airstrikes hit tents outside 2 major hospitals in Gaza. It came just hours before a high-stakes meeting between President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The president says he'll be discussing plans for a new ceasefire and also finding ways to stop Iran from supporting Hamas.
We had no problem with the Middle East. Everything was done. We had no problem with Iran. We had no problem with anybody. And then you had October 7th.
Iran has offered to hold indirect talks with the U.S., but so far there's been no response from the White House.
We're now waiting to see what the United States decides in this matter. Iran's offer for indirect talks is a generous one.
Meanwhile, anxious relatives of hostages held in Gaza are hoping the Oval Office meeting will result in a new push to stop the fighting.
President Trump, tell Netanyahu to stop
this war and bring them all home. Let my people go.
President Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff will be at the meeting, a sign that the Gaza ceasefire will be high on the agenda. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast. Also coming up, a whale-loving dog, a birthday-singing parrot, and a 100-year-old first-time tortoise mom. It's a wild celebration in today's Take a Look at This.
The arts.
Well, just another cold start to the next morning before we really warm up for the week. Now taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We do have mostly clear skies tonight, though a couple of clouds overall tomorrow night. Now temperatures today got up to the mid 60s, but our low this morning was below freezing, and we've unfortunately got another cold night ahead. We have a freeze warning for Missouri counties, Kansas counties along the Missouri border, and then a frost advisory out there in Oklahoma and Arkansas as well. Now we are still dealing with mostly clear skies, don't have any rain chances on the forecast for the next couple of days, and temperatures tomorrow are going to be pretty warm, mid to upper 60s, but we're starting off about 32 degrees. So we definitely have a nice jump in temperatures throughout the day. Now winds are going to be picking up as well. We can see winds gusting out of the west southwest, 15-20 miles per hour throughout most of the day, but by Tuesday evening, gusting up to 30 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts, and then overnight and into early Wednesday morning, we can see winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour, and that's again out of the west southwest ahead of a front that's going to be moving in late Wednesday afternoon. Now it is a dry, cold front, but we are seeing those winds shifting out of the north, which is going to drop our temperatures just slightly as we head into Thursday. Now you can see we might have an isolated shower or two late Wednesday night. This is after the cold front moves through, but early Thursday morning. Outside of that, we go back into the sunny skies and back into a warming trend Friday and Saturday, where we're going to see those temperatures continue to warm back up into the 70s and even hitting 80s. Now we do have another low pressure system that's set out there in the west northwest, and it is going to be pushing in late Sunday, bringing another drop in temperatures to the area. Now, like I said, though, Wednesday and into Thursday, we've got about a 5 to 10 degree temperature drop back to the low 70s, upper 60s on Thursday, and then again on Friday, mid to upper 60s. So this is going to be one of our colder days that we see after we make it through Tuesday this weekend, but temperatures by Saturday getting back up into the mid to upper 70s, and then again Sunday getting into the low 80s. Now winds pick back up on Sunday ahead of another front that we just talked about that's going to be moving in late Sunday night, bringing another chance of showers, but no severe threat. It does drop temperatures just slightly back down to the upper 70s Monday and Tuesday, with more rain chances kicking off late Tuesday night. Scattered shower chances Wednesday and Thursday, maybe some thunderstorms, but no severe threat on the horizon as of right now.
Glad to hear that. Anyone who's lived around here during the spring knows that the weather can change pretty radically from one extreme to another. So we'll enjoy these warm, nice days while they're here.
Yep.
Thanks, Lindsay. Coming up in sports, Pitt State softball tries to stretch its winning streak to 8 games. Plus, a local baseball player gets called up to the major leagues. John Dale says those stories and more coming up next.
Nominate your four-state hero.
Join us at 7.
After a bunch of schedule changes at the end of last week, Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern softball, each of them play home doubleheaders today. Then they're going to swap opponents and do the same tomorrow. We get started in Joplin, game 1 between Missouri Southern and Missouri Western, and we pick it up in the second inning. Lions lead 1-0. Emily Perry is out in right field, and take a look at her on this play. She makes a great diving catch to close out the inning, and that keeps the Griffins scoreless. We go ahead to the top of the third. Same score. Kiki Pickens is in the circle for Southern. She gets not 1, but 2 strikeouts in this inning. She'd pitch a complete game, allowing just 2 hits. Bottom of the third, Taylor Knuckles gets a rally started with that sharply hit liner. She hustles into first with an infield single. Couple of batters later, Katie Gray smacks this pitch down the line to right That's going to roll all the way to the wall. It's an RBI double. Southern wins the first game by shutout. Lions take care of Missouri Western 6-0. In Game 2, Southern falls to Western 4-1. The Griffins score 3 runs to break the tie. That was in the top of the 4th. That's all the run support they needed. Lions get held to just 4 hits. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, the Gorillas, they win the first game of their doubleheader 5-3 over Northwest Missouri. Ava Laurent gets the win in the circle. She allows just 3 hits and 3 earned runs over 7 innings. Now we go to Game 2. A win would make it 8 in a row for the Gorillas, who are back in the top 25. Bottom of the first, Heather Arnett blasts one to right center, and that ball is gone. It's her second home run of the season, and it gives the Gorillas an early 1-0 lead. And hey, they're still not finished in the first. Amaya Snyder, she pulls one down the line into the right field corner. Another run will score. She coasts into second with an RBI double. BSU scores 3 in the first. Now to the second, starting pitcher Aiden Brown. Well, she gets into a rhythm here. She would strike out the side, all 3 of them swinging strikeouts. Brown would go 6 innings with just 1 earned run. Now to the bottom of the third, Pittsburgh State's Sophia Driver hits one high and deep to left center. That one's over the wall for another Pittsburgh State home run. Gorillas sweep the doubleheader over Northwest Missouri. They win the second game 5-3. Well, Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State baseball, both of them are in action this afternoon as well. The Gorillas are at home. They're closing out a 3-game set against Newman. Pittsburgh State won the first 2 games of the series yesterday, and they finish off a series sweep today with a 5-1 victory. Tanner Leslie, he's the winning pitcher for the Gorillas, going 7 innings, striking out 7 and allowing just 1 run. Southern baseball on the road. The Lions, they also put the finishing touches on a series sweep. They beat Missouri Western 9-7. They've now won 4 games in a row. Next up, Lions face Pitt State in Pittsburgh. That's on Wednesday. Speaking of Missouri Southern baseball, former Lion Logan Van Way makes his first appearance in the major leagues tonight, or has the chance to, as he joins the Houston Astros. They face the Mariners in Seattle. Van Way graduated from Webb City High School in 2017. Then he played 5 seasons for the Lions, and in 2022 signed a free agent contract with the Astros. Since then, he's worked his way up their minor league system before getting his shot at the big leagues today. And the 2024-25 college basketball season, it comes to a close tonight. Yesterday, UConn won the Women's National Championship. This evening, Florida and Houston square off in the men's title game. Now, most people expected a close game tonight, and that's exactly what we've got as we come on the air. Just under 8 minutes remaining. Houston leads by 1, but the Florida Gators, they've got life. They trailed by 12 earlier on in the first half. And I think that's kind of all you can ask for when you get to the end like this. We've seen a lot of blowouts in this tournament, but yeah, the last 2 teams standing, and they're giving us a good game here in the last night.
It's exciting to see it this close. Obviously, people who are watching us right now are not watching the game. Maybe
Probably not.
Diehard fans, but they're missing a good one. So after you finish watching this newscast, of course, you might want to change over to KOAM TV. 1-point game, and everything's on the line.
Yeah.
See how it goes. We'll be right back. You've heard of boy meets girl, but how about dog meets whale? And a parrot at a Tennessee zoo can sing happy birthday to herself and imitate some of her fellow zoo residents. Jim Rowbottom has those stories and more in today's Take a Look at This.
A golden retriever in Hawaii who's obsessed with whales recently had a close encounter. Macy rides along on whale watching tours. She caught the attention of a young male whale who swam over and hung out for a bit. A parrot at the Knoxville Zoo sang happy birthday to you to herself for her 38th hatch day.
Big finish. Oh, that is great, Einstein. And I think for your hatch day, you deserve a giant peanut. Yeah.
That's right, parrots celebrate hatch days, not birthdays. Obvi. She also had a couple of other tricks up her feathers.
She has learned a bunch of animal sounds all the way from a red wolf, to a chimpanzee.
Speaking of hatch days, 4 endangered western Santa Cruz Galapagos tortoises hatched at the Philly Zoo for the first time in the zoo's 150-plus year history. The zoo says it makes the mama tortoise, who's about 100 years young, the oldest first-time mom of the species still kicking. Charles Darwin would be proud. For Take a Look at This, I'm Meredith Wood.
Up next, family dance battles and growing up. The cast of The Cleaning Lady talks season 4 surprises, including a special moment for dance star Sean Liu. Fox's The Cleaning Lady is back, and when Fox News caught up with the stars on set, they spoke with the kids of the cast about what's coming up for their characters, what it's like working on this show, and how they're getting in some dancing this season too. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Weren't you the cleaning lady?
I've changed. Fox's The Cleaning Lady brings a thriller story each week, but at its core, the show is always about family.
I love this song, turn it up.
Sean Liu plays Fiona's son Chris, who in real life is known for his dance skills, which he gets to show off this season.
We get to incorporate dance this season, so how much did that mean to you to be able to do?
It meant everything to me. I mean, I've been dancing since I was like 4 years old. I just really wanted to make sure that we were carrying the dance in a way that helped elevate the story and not just add into the story. And hopefully, you know, people will respond to that in a way that heightens the emotions of whatever Chris was feeling.
Which of your castmates have you been able to teach some dance moves to, and who do you like to dance with in the downtime?
Well, me and Martha, we get the jitters out. We kind of like always be dance battling, you know, but she takes a step a little too far. Like she gives me like a lot of footwork, and she's like, oh, you want to do this? And she gets up on my face, and I'm like, you know what? You win this one.
Faith Bryant stars as his on-screen sister, Jazz.
I think for Jazz this season, her big word is just outside. Like she's getting outside of her comfort zone. She's going out of the box. She's not being afraid to venture out and, you know, speak her mind, do things. She's growing up. You know, she's going off to college. She's going off to school. And yeah, that's a big thing for her this season. Pancakes are ready.
Kaylin Roman Sanchez plays Luca, and as the drama continues, all are excited for audiences to see more of season 4.
Where do we watch The Cleaning Lady and when?
On Tuesday night on Fox and the day after on Hulu.
That's something to get excited about. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Let's make it a great tomorrow.